This video comes with a disclaimer. It may make you go a little bit twitchy, may force you to comment. It may trigger the OCD in all of us. Also, it might create anxiety and anger. Let's have a look, shall we? But before we get into it, if you're a fan of the outdoors, seasoned or unseasoned, we've lived this way for over 10 years now. Consider subscribing, liking, and all that jazz. Let's have a look, shall we? What is the problem with tarps these days, eh? We keep getting lots and lots of comments about this bloody thing here. Now, we've had comments all over the show. You need to tighten your tarp. You need to do it this way. You need to do it that way. You need to do this. You need to do that. It's the worst tarp that you've ever seen. Okay. Well, here goes. Yes, it is a DD hammock tarp, 3 meters by 3 meters. There's a couple of other videos out at the moment. They show you how to set it up with all their different scenarios, and that's fantastic, whatever works for you. But we're talking about us. There is no right or wrong way. Well, there are a few wrong ways of setting up a tarp. But in this video, what we're actually trying to go over is the importance of our tarp and our nomadic situation. How we've been successfully doing this for over 10 years now. Living this way, setting up the same tarp for different situations and environments in which we're in. But surprise, surprise, you know, all the storms that we've had this year, the snow, the rain, the flash flooding, everything else, guess what? It's still going, and it's the worst you've seen. Okie doke.
So, why so low on my side is probably a question. Well, it is a question, really, isn't it? That people have had.
Yes.
About the way that we have it so low. Now, it's a very good reason for it, because there's a good reason for everything we do. The prevailing wind comes in here. So when it's raining and it's blowing a hoolie and I'm cooking in this little porch here, I'm going to get soaked. Not only am I going to get soaked, but dinner's going to be really hard to achieve in a situation like that. So we have this low, so when it's doing that, it's literally, that's what's happening. It's keeping me and our food dry. So that's why it's low on this side.
And likewise, on my side, the tarp only comes, so it's overhanging my door ever so slightly. The reason it's high this side, the prevailing wind is coming from that direction. So what happens is, if the prevailing wind's coming from that direction, the tarp's got nowhere to go. You know, it's not going to push down, and the majority of the rain is going to come in from that side too. So what happens is, I'm actually covered by my door, and we've got an absolute superb angle for runoff. The rain, I'll show you. The rain actually runs off all the way down there, doesn't bowl there and tips off that end. And anything coming in from this side
goes all the way down that end.
Yep.
It tips off where we need it to tip off, because I can't have it tip off up near me when I'm cooking. I need it to tip off well out of the way. Hence why we've tucked that far corner down.
Exactly.
Now maybe we should get into why we don't have a ridgeline.
Yes. Well, as you can see here already, let's have a look at that one. You see that's tied in a nice knot? Well, that's because the ridgeline that we had for this before, in strong winds, what it had done is it ripped.
Yep.
It ripped our tabs. And these are only, you know, these sorts of tabs. And it's by DT. And it's by DD hammock tarps. So they're good tarps. 60 quid. Mm-hmm. But we destroyed it within the first few months of having it.
Yep.
You know?
But I'm going to show you another reason why we don't peak the middle. You got to remember, we're on a mountain. And if we peak this middle because of the tarp setup.
Now can you see the obvious problem here? Well, if it's light rain, what's going to happen is it's all going to start to sit there, you see? And you've got no runoff.
And then you're going to get a blow of wind and you might want to move, babe.
And it's all going to start splatting off in all sorts of different directions. Allow for the tent to get wet, and then that will start to freeze when the temperature drops.
And another reason for having it low, just to clear up. Like Mod said, not only do we keep the tent dry, which helps to keep in the heat, but also by having it so low, any heat that's actually coming from the tent is getting trapped under the tarp. So it's like an extra heat shield. By having it so slack over the tent, it's helpful.
I mean, we've seen from English Woodsman. He's a good channel, knows what he's doing, but he had to bail 1 o'clock in the morning to sort his tarp out, and he had a good setup. Have a look at the video. It is a good video.
Yeah, when he's setting it up, you think, oh, that's going to work a treat. We know it won't because we've done it. And
I mean, he had a really good tree line to go to and protect himself, granted, but that's not him. He's a wild camper. He wants the nice views. Fair play to you. Yeah. But he had to bail in the middle of the night. We don't want to be doing that. You know, we live this way. So it's very hard getting out in the middle of the night when it's wind and rain and everything else coming in. You're going to get wet, and then you've got to live like it.
Until you eventually dry off, which can take a very long time outdoors.
Yep, especially with the cold coming in and not much airflow today. I mean, in the storm and that, we had plenty of airflow. The tarp, as you can see, stayed in place. No issue.
And this is the other thing as well. I mean, I would challenge you to leave a comment, because people that are saying this tarp setup is terrible and it's no good and that we don't know what we're doing after 10 years of living this way, if you have a reason why this is such a terrible, why is it so terrible? Because it's lasted through all of the storms that we've had recently.
Yep.
And it's still in one piece. My cooking setup has worked fine because we've set it up just perfectly for our situation. So for those of you that are, oh no, that's terrible, that's the worst, why? What is it? Just because it's slack?
Keyboard warriors unite.
Yeah, is it just because it's slack? Is that what bothers you so much, because it's a slack tarp? Because some situations deserve a slack tarp.
See, I mean, there's textbook tarps out there. You've got your A-frames, you've got your lean-tos.
We know them all, yeah.
Essentially, that's what this is. It's just a lean-to tarp for the situation in which we're in.
Yeah.
We've had ridge lines before, but as you will see from these tabs here, 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the far end. I'm just trying to look for a tree in the distance somewhere that we could actually set up a ridge line with it. Now, fair enough, we could go this way and that way, where Tara is. And let me show you why we don't. My side of the tent is here. I do not cook there. Tara does not cook there. Over on this side, for instance, we are fully covered, and Tara is completely covered for when we're cooking, having coffee, when we want the door open, for that nice, beautiful view. Not what you wild campers might think's beautiful.
We love it.
But we love it. So the tarp is specifically set up for our situation at hand.
Another thing as well is if we was to take the chance and keep our tarp tight and it rips, we don't have that kind of money flow. We're not going out tomorrow to replace our tarp.
No.
We need to treat this tarp like it's gold.
Yes.
So if it means keeping it slack, we'll keep it slack. But the slack is actually a bonus. It's helping to keep in the heat. It's helping to keep the prevailing wind out. It's hanging very low so we don't get anything coming in sideways.
Absolutely.
Anyone that's concerned, like I say, give us your reasons for your concern.
Give constructive feedback.
Yeah,
that would be really nice.
I mean, it's one thing saying you're doing it wrong, but without giving us a specific reason as to why you feel that way so that we can respond appropriately. Because we're at the point now that any more comments we get about this tarp, we're not being rude, but we are just going to ignore it because we're done with the explaining. This video is for that. This
video is the final video about the tarp.
I can't keep going over it with people. It's doing my nutting.
Yep.
And if you like your tarp tight and you've got the money to replace it if it tears, by all means, go and set your camp up however you see fit.
Wasn't there an old saying, you've got more money than sense?
Yeah.
I think in our situation, we like to have a bit more sense than relish in money and just having to, this consumerist society in which we live in, or buy another one. No.
We've learned in 10 years that the best way for especially for a mountainside, when you're going to get high winds and a lot of rain, we know that this is the best setup for us in this situation.
Yeah, not to mention, if you stay here, we'll show you how high we actually are. So right here, I'm stood at chest height in correlation to Tara. Tara is about 6.5 foot higher than my head. So she's up there. Now, all of that is downhill, so the wind would come up this way, but the prevailing wind is coming from that way, just over there. Now watch that. It's hitting the low point of the tarp. Now, if we had that tarp any higher,
it would gush straight underneath it.
Yeah, we would turn into a parachute. And that situation isn't nice for anyone, is it?
No.
No.
So this may not have been the jolliest of videos. and you know, this is literally a video for this very reason, because we want to be able to, from now on, copy the link to this video. Any more comments, boom, job done.
Yes. But thank you all for your feedback and your comments, no matter how weird and wonderful they might have been.
Yeah.
But let's lay off the tarp now, eh?
Tarpology. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. All this hype about tarps. Tarps.
Yeah. Okay. But the tarp's doing fine. Look, it's survived.
Yes.
It's survived. Actually, we've had this for years now, haven't we?
We've had this tarp for about 4 years.
There you go. And you want to know why we replaced it with this one? Because the last one got ripped where we done it too tight.
Yeah. Anyway, Callie.
Happy hopping.